What's going on, guys? Aussie Gamer HD here with my FIFPRO World 11 Team of the Year predictions. Now these are solely based on my opinion, and if there's players in here that you don't really agree with, feel free to discuss it in the comments below. First off, we've got Manuel Neuer, who I believe, in my opinion, is probably the best keeper we've seen since Oliver Kahn, and held his own very well in the World Cup, and also with Bayern Munich helping them win the title last season quite comfortably in record fashion, and in the World Cup pretty much a fifth defender for Germany and very instrumental in their World Cup win. Next we have Lahm. I wanted to put him in midfield, but according to FIFA he will be considered as a defender for the Ballon d'Or ceremony. So Lahm, again, captain of Germany, led them to the World Cup. He has since retired, but in my opinion will go down as one of the greats in the German team. And in defence with him we have another German, Mats Hummels, who has never been in the FIFPRO World 11 but is very deserving in my opinion, was very solid in the World Cup for the Germans, also helping them keep it together in defence, and probably another one of the reasons that they won. Another one who holds his position again this year, Thiago Silva. In the World Cup, very strong for Brazil, and in the game that they did get hammered 7-1 by the Germans, Silva was out for the Brazilians, so you could probably put a case down that Silva was one of the reasons that they did end up losing that. Also won League R last year with PSG, so deservingly holds his position. A controversial one for everyone here is Sergio Ramos. Had a very disappointing World Cup with Spain, got knocked out in the group stage quite embarrassingly, but he did score the equaliser in the Copa del Rey and has always been very solid for Real Madrid, so I believe that Ramos should be in the team. And we move on to the midfield, and this was a little more difficult than the defenders, just because there was a hell of a lot of good midfielders this year. But first I start off with Luka Modric from Madrid. Didn't do too well with Croatia in the World Cup, but very instrumental in Real Madrid's season last year, helping them win the Champions League, and along with Di Maria, I believe was one of their best players for that season in midfield. Next is another German, not surprising, Toni Kroos, after their World Cup win this year. Very good passer in midfield, holds it together for the Germans, and was someone who I think held pretty much the entire German team on his shoulders, playing in that number 10 role that he did so well at the World Cup. Not a massive scorer, doesn't score a lot of goals, but he is very instrumental with his passing and his vision in the midfield. And now we have quite a surprising one for most people, I would assume, but for me, Paul Pogba last year was one of the standout players. Had an amazing season with Juventus, and I think he really came to shine at the World Cup, was one of the shining young stars at the World Cup. And he also had a decent World Cup with the French under-20 team. So in my opinion, he should be in the Team of the Year. I don't think he will be. They'll probably put Iniesta in there, but for me, Paul Pogba had such a good season that he deserves to be in there. And now we move on to the forwards, who, without really any doubt, are already set in stone. We have the man himself, Cristiano Ronaldo, who at the moment is off to a blistering start this season with Real Madrid, 20 goals in 12 league games. Ballon d'Or winner from last year, and in my opinion will probably win it again this year, just because Messi hasn't been quite as good and there's not a whole lot of competition. Didn't do too well with Portugal at the World Cup. Obviously there's not a lot of good players around him, but he did quite well himself. There's probably a few moments there where he should have done a little bit better, but Ronaldo probably will go down as one of the greats and will hold his place in the team until he retires, I think. And up front we have a man who didn't feature at the World Cup, but he had a sensational year nonetheless, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's been in the team for a few years now, and this guy cannot stop scoring. He just seems to get better as he gets older. And not only does he score a lot of goals, he scores a lot of freakish goals. This guy can do it all. He's got headers, he's got beautiful goals in his pocket, he can score back heels, he's got skills, he can head the ball extremely well, he holds up play like none other. This guy is going to go down as one of the greats, and it'll be a sad day when Ibrahimovic retires. And last but not least, we have Lionel Messi. 4-time Ballon d'Or winner. Probably more than likely there'll be more to come. Broken records for fun this year. He's now the top La Liga scorer and the top scorer in the Champions League. Will probably be alongside Pelé as greatest ever. I don't like saying it, but Messi has been quite a sensational player, so he also keeps his place in the team. One thing I did decide to do was add a few honourable mentions, players who just missed out that I think could have been in there as well. Jerome Boateng, another German, obviously with the World Cup win. Played out of position though at the World Cup, spent most of his time at right back or in the fullbacks, but he still did very well for the Germans, very solid. There was a few moments in the World Cup where he did slip up, but in my opinion was one of the better defenders at the World Cup and also very solid for Bayern Munich. And the next player is the shining light of the World Cup, Golden Boot winner James Rodriguez. People knew about this guy before the World Cup, playing for Monaco and also for Porto in Portugal, but really came to his own in the World Cup, scored some sensational goals, held Colombia up and took them all the way to the stage where they did get knocked out eventually, and in the off-season did make his move to Real Madrid and has done very well since he's moved to Madrid, and someone who I think should have been in the team but did just miss out. And now we have Brazil's golden boy Neymar, who was very good at the World Cup, and I honestly think Brazil probably would have made it to the final had Neymar not have been injured against Colombia with that tackle from Zuniga. Pelé himself said that Neymar is the heir to his throne apparent. In my opinion, probably won't be that good, but he's got a long way to go, still very young, so he will have a very promising career ahead of him. And next we have, who I think is a very quiet achiever, Thomas Müller, who, going by the stats that you can see on screen there, does have quite a very good statistical record. Just unlucky to miss out on the golden boot and probably the golden ball at the World Cup. His work rate is immense in the German team, always up and down the flank, and if he's in the centre he's always working hard to get in and score goals. And for a very tall fella, very mobile, and probably going to break Miroslav Klose's record for World Cup goals in the future. Another player who can probably consider himself unlucky to not be in the team of the year this year is Arjen Robben, who had a sensational World Cup for the Dutch and also really good for Bayern Munich last season. 37 appearances, 21 goals, 14 assists. Absolutely rapid player. This guy is quick, 30 years old, and he still moves around like he's 20. And someone who I think will be very effective in the future. Probably got another 4 or 5 years left in him, provided he holds up from injuries. But probably, someone who should have been in the team but did miss out, unfortunately, for me. And now the most expensive player in the world, Gareth Bale. People weren't too sure how he was going to go playing in Spain this year. UK players generally don't do too well playing in Spain, but from the stats and everything that you can see there on screen, he's done fairly well. 36 games, 22 goals, 16 assists. Up there with one of the best in the league, Ronaldo, I think, and with Benzema up front, they're a lethal front three. Didn't play at the World Cup, but still very unlucky to miss out on the team, I believe. And this is what the team does look like from my perspective. Obviously, everyone's got their own opinions, but for me, this is what the team will look like. And for me, a very strong team. And I guess we'll wait and see when it is announced as to how close I was. So I hope you did enjoy this video, guys. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time for my next video. Thanks, guys. Catch ya.